Hello! It's Rami, and today I figured it would be fun to do a reading vlog because I have been needing to get in some reading, so I think that this will be a nice little motivator. The first book that I need to be getting through is Six of Crows. I've never read any of Leigh Bardugo's books and I'm so excited. My book club decided to read this book. We have our meeting on Sunday afternoon. It is currently Friday and I've only made it to page 80. So I didn't even look and see how many pages are in this book. 462 pages. So I have a little over 300 pages that I need to get done. And tomorrow I have a really busy day, so it's mostly gonna be today. I also have an oat milk latte with a little bit of homemade pumpkin spice syrup that I made, and it is so good. I'm addicted. I've been having one every single morning and it's so good. It's good so far. Not a lot has happened. We kind of just got the main objective of the story presented to Kaz, one of the characters. So I'm really excited to see that start to pan out. Page 81, chapter 6, and we're gonna start reading. It's a little bit later. I made it to page 114, so not that far into the book. Not gonna lie, I was sitting there reading and I fell asleep. So it's time to get back into it. It's so nice outside. The sun kind of went behind a cloud. I'm not gonna lie, I'm having a little bit of a rough time, but I'm excited to get further into it.
Away, my heart drops to the floor. They said it would get easier, but I don't know who for. Days move faster now, I swear. I can feel them slip away. But some things last forever. The love that never fades. Promises for the young and free, but you kept every word you said and you stayed true to me.
I think I'm kind of struggling with this book a little bit. So I got to page 130 and I'm gonna pause for right now because I found myself just picking up my phone and scrolling, and so I don't really want to do that. I'm going to shift for a little bit. I think I'm going to go switch over the laundry and do a couple other things and listen to my audiobook. I finally got access to on Libby Tom Felton's Beyond the Wand, and I'm about an hour into it and I'm really liking it. This is the first nonfiction book that I have read / listened to in 2023, and it's really good. Aside from I'm Glad My Mom Died, which I did not finish, I don't think I've listened to like a memoir or a biography, so I am excited, especially because it's someone that I'm just really excited to learn more about their story. It's very casual in the way that it's written, and it is narrated by Tom Felton, which is so fun. It gives off the vibe of like sitting down with a friend and like swapping stories and just like conversating, which I kind of like. So that's the plan. I just wanted to check in with y'alls.
We lean into the great beyond. There's more love yet to make. 'Cause some things last forever, but love it never fades. He left her slowly as his mind lost more every day. Quietly she walked beside and tended in her way. Now the bed he built for two is cold, but her memories have stayed. Because some things last forever, but love it never fades. Dishes and tears, I'm standing here. I know it sounds cliche. A blanket of this history covers me today. In between the bliss.
I am still working my way through Six of Crows. Also, sorry, I literally just woke up from a nap, but there's a whole like situation with like why I'm now listening to it via audiobook and reading it. So I was supposed to have it finished by Sunday for my book club because we were meeting, and I was like super stressed. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna finish it for book club. I wound up getting it via audiobook, and I spent a ton of time on Sunday before book club like listening to it on like 2 times speed, but I only had an hour and a half to listen, and it was not enough, so I didn't quite finish it. But that's okay because I felt like I had gotten enough through the story that I could discuss it and we could talk about it, and also enough through the story that if we talked about the ending, I wouldn't have like 300 pages to go and not want to finish it. So currently in the audiobook, I only have 30 minutes left, so I'm really, really close to the end. I definitely think that the last half of the book has been way more interesting than the first half of the book. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely way more descriptive and a little bit slower than I thought it was going to be. And then I'm also, hold on, let me grab it. I also started reading our September book club pick, and that is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. It's a fall themed romance, and it's supposed to be like Gilmore Girls, like it's set in a small town, and it's about a girl named Jeannie, and she is taking over her Aunt Dot's cafe, so hence the name Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Essentially, she came from like the big city and she's coming to this small town because she wants a restart and a reset, and she is just kind of thrust into getting involved with this town. And of course there's a love interest who is kind of like, if you've watched Gilmore Girls, Jeannie is kind of like, I wouldn't say she's actually quite similar to Lorelai aside from the way that she talks, like talks very fast and puts in a lot of information all at once, like Lorelai in Gilmore Girls, but Logan, the main male character of this book, is very much like Luke in Gilmore Girls. That's like super fun, especially because I love Gilmore Girls, and I'm actually rewatching, I was watching season 5 and now I'm on season 6 right now, so it's been kind of fun to like get a little bit of Gilmore Girls in what I'm reading right now. I am currently on page 70, so 26% of the way done. This one's like a short, sweet, I think it's like maybe 300 pages or just under 300 pages. Yeah, I have like boring house stuff to do, and then we'll get to do more reading. So yeah. I don't know.
And underneath the egg, in the tenderness, a single thread remains. It's deeper than a sentiment. It's a fierce and holy rage. Some things last forever, but love it never fades. But love it never fades.
Okay, this is so cute. The main character, I can't say that because it's kind of a spoiler. Dang it. Well, it's really cute, okay? So just know that. That I'm liking this book and there are cute things in it. And yeah, I guess I can't say that because it's kind of very much a spoiler. Dang. Okay, anyway, back to reading. Well, that sucks. I wanted to share that with you guys. It was so cute. So I have just been like doodling for the last 15 minutes and I saw this idea online and I thought it was so cute. Essentially the idea is to write down the recipe and then do like a little doodle of something in the recipe or like something that goes with the recipe, and just making like these super personal recipe cards. I made one for my pumpkin spice syrup, which I have been loving this fall season. I mean, the cup's a little wonky, but that's okay. I just had fun drawing my little pumpkin spice latte, and now I have the recipe ready for whenever I want to use it. Highly recommend if you have like a handful of recipes that you absolutely love and you want a really special way to keep them. Also, I guess if you want to try it, here you go. You can pause. Here is the front and here is the directions on the back. Yeah. To go to a park that's kind of close to my house because I don't know, I just wanted like a change of scenery or like just switch it up a little bit. So I brought the last of my coffee. It's gone now, which is sad. And I brought my book and I'm still reading the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I'm on page 165 or 63% of the way through the book and it's so cute and I am just obsessed. It's such an easy read. There's only one thing that is a little bit frustrating. The male main character is just kind of stuck on this one thing, and if you read it you'll understand, but I don't want to spoil it. But he's just kind of like stuck on this one thing and keeps talking about it or keeps thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, like understand, let's move on. Like, or if you don't want to move on yet, then like we have to figure something else out, you know? So that's the only thing that's like maybe bothering me, but that's really minuscule and I am just really enjoying the book. It's such like a cozy vibe and it's so like fall. There's just like people biking by and driving by and I'm just like talking to a camera. Anyway, I was just having a moment on the swings because, you know, who said you can't swing as an adult? And like, why can't we just have that childhood moment for ourselves, you know? And there was nobody around. I wasn't stealing the swing from a kid. I would never do that. If there was a kid that was wanting to swing, have at it. But there's literally nobody here, so might as well. So I'm gonna just sit here, enjoy the little breeze that's going on, and just enjoy having this park all to myself. I don't know what it is, but I went on a walk to start listening to a new audiobook. I was like, oh, I'll just stop into my local library. And I was in there and I was just perusing and I spotted Scythe, which is a book that I have had my eye on for a while, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to read a book with this dark of a premise because essentially it's about a time in the world where modern advancements have gotten so advanced that there is no longer death, in which scythes come in and they administer death because there has to be death and regeneration and all of that if the population is going to continue to grow. It's just a very interesting premise, and I think it's about these two characters that get picked to become scythes. I grabbed it at the library. I started reading the first like 2 pages and I was like hooked. I was immediately hooked. So I actually read on my walk while I finished up the rest of my walk because I just had to keep reading. I'm already on page 31, chapter 3, and it's going back and forth between the perspective of Citra and a kid named Rowan. And it's so good. Like, the way that it's written already is just, I don't know. There's just something about it. So I wanted to do a little update because this is an unexpected addition to this reading vlog. I'm still reading The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I'm about 70% of the way through that. And I finished Six of Crows, and I finished the other audiobook that I was listening to, Beyond the Wand by Tom Felton. So I just need to give some updates, but right now I just need to read this book. I just need to sit here and read this book. So I'm pretty much in the same spot. I am now on page 180 and we just had the biggest freaking plot twist. Oh, I'm so angry about it. We just have to keep persevering. Gut punch. Wasn't prepared for that. Wasn't prepared for that. Couple things. My brain is a little bit all over the place, but I wanted to give you guys an update on Six of Crows. Finished the book. I'm going to be making like a little breakfast scramble while I talk because I just figured that made sense. I was a little bit surprised, I think, because the people that love this book absolutely love this book, and I thought it was like just okay. Like, I definitely think there were parts of it where I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane and I need to know what's happening and whatnot. There were definitely a lot of parts that just kind of felt like there wasn't really much backbone to it. Things that kind of were built up to be huge problems wound up being not any problems at all, and just, I don't know, it just didn't feel as like punchy as I thought it would. So I think I would probably give Six of Crows, I think, a 3.5. I'm really curious. Obviously, if you've read this book, you know the ending, and so I think that's definitely way more of a motivation for me to read The Crooked Kingdom, I think. But it definitely is going to be a while for me because it was hard to get through, and I Okay, it wasn't hard to get through. I think the best way to describe it was that it was just okay. It wasn't life-changing, but it definitely wasn't a bad book by any means. And I enjoyed the characters. I think that Kaz and Inej are probably my two favorites, just their interactions and the way the people that they are, and especially when you get more of their backstory, it definitely helps you understand them better. I also really loved Nina. She is so strong and powerful, and she is of her own. I'm really curious to know your guys' thoughts on if you really like Six of Crows or not. I thought that for the most part, the writing was really well executed. I felt like what was written brought value to the story. Like most of the time it didn't seem unnecessary, which I think is great. And I feel like that was probably the average consensus of my book club, was like around a 3 or 3.5. I was surprised that none of us were like so gung-ho, like obsessed with it. I don't want to just stand here and like keep talking for forever, so I think I'm gonna pause it at that, and then I will give you guys further updates on Scythe, oh my freaking goodness, and the pumpkin spice latte. I will update you guys on those in just a little bit, but I'm gonna finish this scramble. Need to rant for a minute about this book. It's cute, okay? It's cute. But the male main character, he is so dense. The scene that I just read, someone's like explaining something to him and he's like, oh my gosh, that was a gut punch. It was so obvious. I know this is probably not making a lot of sense because I don't want to like give anything away, but like, I love the female main character. She is amazing. She is great. She is doing everything right, in my opinion. I'm 83% of the way through on page 222, and we may or may not finish this book tonight. Oh, yeah, I only have 40 pages left. Hello. Okay. It is morning time and I've officially finished both of these books. This book kind of came out of nowhere for me. I read this book in 3 days, I think. That is relatively fast for me. The way that it gets you thinking about morality, your own mortality, what that means and how valuable mortality actually is was just really beautiful in the way that the story kind of told it. And then it was like exploring some taboo things like death and all of these things that, you know, a lot of people don't like to talk about. And the way that the book kind of walked you through some of those things was really interesting and very insightful and very, it helped you reflect a little bit. And obviously it showed some of the negative sides of those things as well. And it happens in the world that we live in, which is unfortunate. The way that the author writes is just incredible. It's the perfect mixture of being straightforward and descriptive. Some of the things that are said in here are so beautiful and impactful. There was no place in the story that really lulled. I feel like the author did such a great job of knowing when to add in a ton of impactful description and when not. There was only one part in the book where something happened, there was like a plot twist and it kind of was reaching like a pinnacle of like, oh no, what's gonna happen? What are we gonna do? Like, we're, you know, 75% of the way through the book. like, how is this going to be resolved? And it was kind of resolved very quickly with no real explanation. So I didn't really love that. Citra is probably my favorite out of all the characters. And there is like something that happens in here that like you're already like book one, this is crazy. It just goes to show that there is so much more story left to be told and there's so much more to come. But it makes me so incredibly excited for the next book. I already have it on hold at the library. I'm gonna go pick it up today because I just can't wait to read it. I cannot wait to jump into the next book. That is Scythe. I would give this a 5 out of 5. Okay, also just so you know, I don't actually drink my coffee like that. It's just purely for the dramatic effect. Okay, next I finished the pumpkin spice latte last night. Or pumpkin spice latte. The pumpkin spice cafe. There are some mixed feelings. Okay, I think I probably would give the book a 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't bad necessarily, but this man, the latter half of the book was just so annoying. I didn't want anything to do with him. I didn't want our main character to have anything to do with him. Overall, I think it was cute and I'm glad that I read it because holy moly did it bring the fall vibes, and I'm glad that I read it, so I'm not mad about it. I'm really not. Like, and it did not put me in a slump, so that's good. And I actually enjoyed the writing of the book. It just was the male main character just really didn't connect with me. I would be really curious to know if you guys have read this, what you guys think of the male main character. If you're like, oh, I thought he was fine, like whatever, or if you also felt like that kind of weird disconnect, I'd be really curious to know. I'm just excited to continue to chip away at my fall TBR. With all that being said, I think that is it for this reading video. I read Six of Crows, Scythe, and the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.